Today's Daily Ticker brought to you by Pelican Brewing Company. This year, give Santa what he wants. Forget the milk and pair his cookies with the Northwest favorite festive beer, Bad Santa Cascadian Dark Ale.
This guy might have a good Bad Santa.
He could. Everybody in the country is yelling about his football team, Indiana play-by-play man, and now good friend of the show, yes. Don Fischer. We had him on when the Huskies were out there taking on Indiana, and game day was in town. Now they're on the road in Columbus this weekend. Don, good morning to you. If I would have told you in August that Indiana football was going to become a national lightning rod, leading people to yell at each other about who have they beat, should they be in, should they be out, what would your response have been?
I'd have said you're nuts.
How does it feel to be at the like you guys seemingly are at the epicenter of this entire debate? Now we get the rankings every Tuesday. They come out again last night. People on national TV are telling your starting quarterback to not play this weekend. It kind of walk me behind the scenes of what it's been like out there in Indiana and going into a big game this weekend.
Well, it's phenomenal for the program, no question about that. Our fan base for years has been let down with big ball games, things like that. We didn't have probably 30,000 in the stands in a 53,000-seat stadium for the opening game of the season, and Indiana won that ball game. And it was okay performance. It wasn't a superstar performance, but they dominated the team that they played, Florida International, and then all of a sudden they won a couple ball games. They beat UCLA on the road in the third game of the season. That sparked a little bit of interest, to say the least. And from that point forward, this place has been a zoo because there's no doubt the excitement level has just been off the charts. Nothing but full stadium sphere for the last 4 weeks of home ball games. And, of course, game day and big noon kickoff and every show in the world has come to Bloomington to watch this program. And it's just been an exciting time. And obviously it's galvanized a Hoosier nation that was starving for a good football team.
Yeah, Don, that game day show and then, watching the start of that game, the pick six early on. The Huskies drove all the way down, pick six. That place was rocking in a way I've never seen in my life. Now, I am curious, longtime legendary voice such as yourself, you drive around Bloomington, people go, "Oh my God, that's Don Fischer. Don't say hi to Don Fischer. Oh, don't look at Don Fischer. He's gonna think we're just stalking him." What do people say when they do walk up to Don Fischer? How much football questions are you hearing? How much are people pissed that they're being questioned, but Penn State's just above them, having beaten nobody, and nobody questions a thing, and they have a loss?
I know. Well, here's what people say. The first thing people say to you, "Are you having fun?" That's the first thing they say to me, because Indiana football has been obviously not all that much fun over the years, and this is my 52nd year doing it. So they're always going, "Are you having fun?" And, of course, I'm having fun. It's about the most fun I've ever had from a football perspective. And there were some good years back in the Bill Maurer era, back in the 80s and 90s, but nothing like this. This has just been a remarkable turnaround in such a short time. Nobody expected it. And without question, the fan base is loving every second of it, and they should, because this is such a rarity.
Yeah, we got the news over the weekend. We're talking with Don Fischer, longtime play-by-play man for Indiana, as the Hoosiers get ready to go on the road to Columbus this weekend. Got the news, I think, Saturday morning or Friday night, whatever it was, Kirk Cignetti signing a long-term contract extension that's going to make him one of the highest-paid coaches in the entire sport. Were you surprised? Maybe you know more about the finances there, but I saw that. I'm like, $8 to $9 million a year. That's putting him up in the top of the conversation of highest paid coaches in the country. And how much of a sigh of relief was that for Indiana fans, maybe, that were wondering in the back of their mind that this has been kind of a fun fever dream, but somebody else big could come calling and he might leave us, but he's already signed an extension. He's staying committed to Indiana.
Well, 4 and 5 weeks in, people were exactly that. They were starting to stress about the fact that this guy's going to leave because somebody's going to come after him and offer him a $6 or $7 million contract. Nope, Indiana got him because they offered him $8 million. So, no, we all doubted that. I honestly didn't believe that he would leave after one season, but. The fact of the matter is that was a concern for a lot of people, a lot of Indiana fans, because what this guy has done is just unbelievable. It's a remarkable turnaround for a program that just has had no winning tradition for the most part in a long, long time. And honestly, my opinion is this thing started maybe 5 weeks into the season when the university said, we've got something special here. We're going to take care of it. And I think that's when the talks began. And so just to sew this guy up for till 2032, I think is the date that the 8 years is up. But he's got an 8-year contract, $8 million a year. It's phenomenal for him. It's phenomenal for their family. We think that their family loves being in Bloomington. It's a great college town. It always has been, obviously with a great basketball tradition. But the basketball team hasn't won a national championship since '87. And, of course, the Indiana fans and people in Indiana believe they know more about basketball than anybody else in the country, just so you know. But the fact of the matter is basketball hasn't been as great as it used to be either. And so they've been starving for something to have the kind of success that this has brought to this program. And without doubt, it's been as much fun as I think anybody's had in a long time.
I was going to ask you your thoughts on the matchup this weekend, and we really like talking with you. I think you're going to be a homer on that answer, so I'm not going to ask you that question, and I wouldn't blame you either, given what the team's done. What have you just made? You may not watch all the shows or hear all the podcasts or see all the clips. What have you just made in general of the way people have talked about Indiana with this amazing start?
Well, I think because Indiana's tradition or lack thereof is common knowledge all around the country from a football perspective. The thing that brightens my life in that sense is that Indiana people, or the people that don't know that much about Indiana, or at least have known what has been the scenario before, has suddenly changed their mind. And it's literally a Cinderella story for this program and for Indiana fans. And, I don't know how to answer that question, to be honest with you, because this is so new to everybody. And it's new to me. I mean, I love what we're seeing here, and I don't think there's any question this man is a great football coach. I think that's been proven without question. He's never had a losing season this 14 years as a head coach. He learned a lot from Nick Saban back in the day when he was an assistant there for 4 years before he got his first head coaching job at 40-plus years, whatever he was at that point. But this guy really knows the game. And the fact that he has turned it around so quickly is stunning. But at the same time, when you talk to him, he believes it. He was going to do it in the first year. I mean, he was talking about it when he got hired.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody said, what do you think of this first season? And he said, well, we're going to be in the Big Ten championship game. Well, you're sitting here going, what? What are you doing? What are you thinking? But he's brought it on to the point where there's a belief now that this guy is the real deal. And what happens in this game on Saturday is not going to change that, I don't believe. I think Ohio State, without question, is one of the best teams in the country. There's all kinds of the SEC people just crying. I mean, they're crying blood out of their eyes right now because Indiana is in the top 5 of the CFP. So all I can tell you at this point, we're just going to enjoy it. That's all you can do at this juncture. Enjoy it and love it while it's happening.
Yeah, enjoy the ride. This, you know far more about Indiana football history than I do, but based on our 2 conversations with you, I would kind of leap to a guess that this would be the biggest win in Indiana history. And if not, is there any game that even comes close to it if they are to win in Columbus this weekend and likely lock up, let's be honest here, they would lock up an undefeated season because you got Purdue waiting in the wings. And we've all seen Purdue play football this year. Would this be the biggest win? And would any other game even come close to it if they were able to win this weekend?
In my opinion, this is the biggest game in Indiana football history. And I say that just because it's an Ohio State program that has more tradition than Indiana ever thought of having. It's a program that has been top 5 in the country for 14 years in a row, something like that. The last time Indiana beat Ohio State was 1988, and they won back-to-back games in 80. They won back-to-back games in 87 and 88. They tied them 2 years later in 1990. And they were always playing really good games against the Buckeyes back in the day under Bill Mallory, but most of the time they were getting beat. And the Hoosiers haven't beat them since 88. Wow. So if Indiana comes up and knocks off Ohio State, there may be people jumping off buildings in Columbus, Ohio. because obviously the last time Indiana beat them in 87, or it wasn't the last time, 88 they won as well, but in 87, Earl Bruce was the head coach, and he declared it as the darkest day in Ohio State football history.
Wow.
Ryan Day may be saying the same thing if Indiana wins this one.
I don't mean to make you feel a certain way. I was 1 going on 2 when that happened, and my co-host wasn't even alive. So he quite literally has never seen this happen
it in my lifetime.
in his life. Let's get you out of here on this one, Don, because we appreciate the time. I'm putting you kind of on the spot, like dance clown, but we have this read we're doing for a local company, a brewery, and they're presenting a bad Santa, but like a good bad Santa. What would be a good bad Santa ho 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 Don Fischer would try to say out loud?
I'm not understanding what you're asking me because I'm old. Okay, explain it again.
What's the best bad ho 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 you could hear from a Santa Claus? Like he's a bad Santa.
I don't know how to answer your question. Apparently, I'm really old.
It's okay.
Older than I thought.
We love you, Don. You're the best, and I hope nobody pinches you because you're living in a fever dream right now, and everybody out there in Indiana is. What an opportunity this weekend in Columbus. Don Fischer, longtime voice of Indiana football and basketball. And Don, we appreciate the time, man. Have a great call this weekend. Best of luck, and maybe we'll be seeing you in the Big Ten title game here soon.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
There you go. Don Fischer of Indiana.
I made that awkward at the end.
You did make it a little awkward there.
Did it make sense to you? What I was asking?
Yeah. I mean, I got it, but I'm in on it because we've been talking about it
yeah.
on the show. So I think if you told me, give me a bad Santa, ho ho ho.
Schultz, did that make sense, or was he old there? Who was wrong here?
I don't. It's not really your guys' fault. I think it's just kind of a hard explanation because when I hear bad Santa, I do just go to like the movie and Billy Bob Thornton.
I don't think he's seen.
I think you need. I understand. Like it's like, hey, so what's the bad Santa's evil ho 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 or something?
Oh, that'd have been a better way to phrase it.
Yeah. So what's the bad Santa sound?
Give me a scary ho ho ho.
There we go.
But we got to keep it with the bad Santa marketing.
It's true,
so what does the bad Santa, evil sound like? I don't know.
I don't think I ruined the relationship with that question.
I don't think it's quite a relationship ruiner.
No, I don't think it
made it a little awkward, though. It did make it a little
uncomfortable.
Yeah,
well, you live and you learn.
Today's Daily Ticker, as always, brought to you by Pelican Brewing's Bad Santa. Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho. See, that's it right there. Schulte got it.
Maybe I should just stop asking guests.
Just have Schulte do it. That's the
it.
drop. I think we need to pull that as a drop. Have that on the page. That needs to be it.
Can you pull that during the break? Because I think you were standalone there. No noise underneath it.
Bad Santa's Cascadian Dark Ale. Warm up with bold flavor and get into the holiday spirit. Enjoyed by the fire or maybe even under the mistletoe.